I very well recognize that Florida State went out and got a ton of speed for this receiving corps. It's one of the things I'm most excited about. They were lacking speed last year. They had a real hard time stretching the field last year. They had dudes that could go up and win contested footballs. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Keon Coleman wasn't running away from people. He could, but he didn't every week. That wasn't his forte. He wasn't out there running 4.35. We know that. We saw him at the combine. Hell, we know what he ran, right? He's not a blazingly fast guy. He's fast. Unbelievable athlete, big and strong, really good body control, makes contested catches, runs great. He's all those things. But you would never say that guy's blazingly fast. The way you say Tyreek Hill is blazingly fast.
Sure. Very
different kinds of receivers. So let me clarify this. I get that, like, you don't have to be 6'4" to be a number one. And the Tyreek Hill thing's a good example. Somebody brought it up earlier, and I meant to revisit it and just clarify what I'm saying. Yes, I mean, what did Tyreek Hill have last year? 1,700 yards receiving, more than that, something like more than that. It's obscene. He's obviously a superstar, and he would be a one. Yes, he'd be considered a one. When I say one, a lot of times, and this is probably not an apt descriptor as I should say. I should figure out a different way to say it. I'm thinking about the guys that win contested balls because of the physicality, because they are just bigger and stronger and taller and longer. That's not the way that you can succeed at receiver, clearly. Many ways. Tyreek just runs past bitches. He's also schemed wide the hell open by a really fun offensive mind in McDaniel. But I'm talking about the guys where, okay, nobody's open, but I've got one-on-one, and I'm going to throw it up to Keon Coleman like we did against Clemson, because I trust that he's going to make that. That touchdown in the back of the end zone against LSU is as well covered, and their secondary wasn't good, but that is as well covered as you'll see. And I guess my point was, and I didn't describe it right, Tyreek Hill's not making that catch. You better scheme him open. You better let him get it in space and run away from people.
Or drop it in the bucket through good coverage, but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Hand fighting.
Right, and physically just pushing a dude off of you, just being that kind of guy. Again, there's real value, unbelievable value, millions of dollars worth of value to what Tyreek does, but there are different kinds of players. That's all I'm saying is, like, who's that guy for this group where when things are getting shut down and you're having a hard time getting guys in space, who are the guys that you trust to just go make a catch? And they had two dudes like that a year ago. They'll have Kyle Morlock this year because 6'7", 6'7".
Right.
I'm sorry. Good luck. I know you know where I'm going. I'm 6'7".
I think your three candidates on this team are Malik Benson and Kentron and Elijah Moore. To be determined on Hakeem. But I think Malik he can win contested catches. I know Kentron can, but I'm not talking about with consistency. I'm not talking about it's third and obvious and everybody knows the ball is going to this player. I'm not saying that scenario. Anquan Bolden in the Super Bowl from Joe Flacco. Everybody knows where the ball is going. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's in the red zone. Everything's covered. Take a shot at the end zone. Yeah, my top candidates are in no particular order: Benson, Kentron, and then Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore's already that to me. That's a very specialized role. I'm not talking about between the 20s that he's going to be a starter, but I think he belongs already in the red zone doing those types of things.
Yeah. You really think Benson's going to be that guy?
I think he's capable of it, yeah. Again, limited sample from what I've seen, but I've seen him make contested catches, back shoulder, type throws, one of which was in the showcase. Don't get mad at me, Florida State. It was in the showcase. It was actually kind of a front shoulder. It was on a third down. Yeah, I've seen him do it.
I hope so. I mean, that would be an emergence and something else we saw. I mean, then we've seen from him in the past. He might be able to. I like Benson a lot, by the way. I want to continue to say that. He's had good practices. He's been very good. He's been dependable. He's been pretty consistent compared to the other receivers who have good days, bad days, good days, bad days, good days, bad days. He's been rock solid in that sense. I don't want people to get the wrong idea of my impressions of Benson. Just that, he doesn't fit that mold that I'm talking about as, Throw it up because that dude's 6'6", that dude's 6'5", that dude's 6'4". He'll make the play. I mean, that's the problem with a really elite and talented 5'9" corner.
Yeah,
Greg Reed was always going to be victimized by a 6'4" receiver who was like talented, right?
Sure.
So yeah, you're not. I don't. Greg was immensely talented. He's not going to win that battle.
So the thing is, that specific role, of course, you want a receiver who can do it all. Of course, everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
That specific role isn't too much for a freshman to me. It's a very simple thing. It's like a rebounding.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like you're rebounding and you're playing pickup. There's nothing. I mean, that's why Greg Carr was awesome. Greg Carr, I get it. Downtown, up top. Well, that's what he did. You just throw it up to Greg Carr, fade balls in the back of the end zone. Like, he wasn't going to be an NFL stud, but you could at least do that much. If it's 3rd and goal from the 7, roll Elijah Moore's ass out there. Go for it. He doesn't need to know about sight adjusts. It's inside leverage, outside leverage from the corner, and which way am I going to go? Here comes the ball, back pylon. Go make a play. I mean, before Johnny was refined, he did that at Louisville. Now, he had even 3 more inches of height, but I mean, I don't think that's asking too much from a specialized player.
And your receiving core can be made up of lots of different types of people. So, for example, we don't have to have just jump ball receivers. Somebody asked me that just a moment ago in the chat. Like, when did we just start needing jump ball receivers? This isn't about needing. It's what you would like to have in addition to all of the other things. So when you have a catch and run receiver, right? Like a guy that you get the ball out to quickly in space, your hope with that kind of elusiveness, that make you miss in a phone booth type guy, like Cheetah, like somebody like Tyreek Hill, right?
Oh, man.
Well, that's a problem. Good luck, because you make one man miss and it's gone. He's going to beat you. You don't have the angle. He's that kind of fast. He's breathtakingly fast.
It's any kind of screen. It's a bubble. It's a tunnel screen.
Oh, it's all that.
It's a slant.
Yes, and
We've got some tunnel screen personnel here,
and you can make hay with that. But you also want guys that win down the field. Yeah. You want that kind of balance. Sometimes winning down. Look, man, it's not like Randy Moss fooled people.
Does Norvell come out of the second scrimmage with a solid idea of his top 4 wide receivers, and does that become evident in reps at practice this week? Now, of course, we can't answer the second part of it after the fact, but he's saying, do you think that they shrink the rotation essentially in practice this week?
The top 4?
Mm-hmm.
No.
How about 5? I think there are 5 dudes that are working with the ones more often after this weekend.
So let me ask you, are we going to go through this as the X and the Z and the slot? I mean, are we going to how are we doing this?
So this is,
how do you want to rate this?
I would rate it as, this is the honor system, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they do with 11 on 11s. They have the third period of practice, and then sometimes they'll return to it for more than others. Some days they'll do more than others.
Mm-hmm.
But when the ones are out there, typically, the O-line is as follows.
Yeah.
The running back is as follows. The tight end.
Mm-hmm.
The receiver rotation. Do you think that, maybe when the ones roll out this upcoming week, it's typically, as long as there's no bangs and bruises, like,
are we going to, how many receivers are on the field in this particular formation?
Let's go with 3. Let's go with 3.
I was going to say, how many receivers are on the field in this
formation? One back, one tight. Okay. Do you think it's the same 3?
I think it's Benson, Ja'Kai, and
right. So Briley's question is, do you think this weekend might help you with, it's just going to be him? Okay. I see.
The hard part of answering this, I know what they want it to be, but the hard part of answering this is, guys, this is not a secret. So I'm trying to answer where I don't get us in trouble. They've had too many candidates miss a little time.
Yeah, they're trying to get Kentron back healthy.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
He's a candidate. Hakeem.
Candidate.
Elijah Moore, I suppose, is a candidate. Jaylen Brown is a candidate to be out there. Lil Wayne McCoy is a candidate. Briley wants to know, are one of those guys emerging as the guy after this weekend?
He's asking, yeah, okay.
No.
All right, there it is.
Nope.
Glad we thought it through.
No, we need more time.
It could probably play out into the season. And it should be okay.
So let's say this. I'm going to give you a hypothetical here that helps explain where I'm at. Let's say there's a player that they think can be part of that group, okay? And for what you think of whoever you want, right? That there's a player that you think should be part of that group, whether he's experienced or talent or both or whatever it might be, right? But he's under that Kentron Portier umbrella of he's missed some time due to injury, trying to get back healthy. Okay, there's been a myriad of guys off and on again, that they've alluded to and mentioned before. Well, you don't have to have that solidified by Georgia Tech. You need to have a group that you're going to roll out there with, and that's fine. But I think you could beat Georgia Tech running the ball, throwing off a play action, running your quarterback, hitting Kyle Morlock, the backs out of the backfield, flipping field position with your great punter and playing good defense. I think you win the game that way. And then as we keep going, you get that bye week after the BC game. And now we reassess. After that BC game, you exhale and you say, okay, is everybody good? Are we all healthy now? Is everybody able to get reps the way we need them to get reps? All right, who are our guys? And I think that it could go well into the season.
You can categorize somebody like it's in fantasy football or a video game. Let's just say you're playing the video game and you see the other team has personnel, 3 receivers, 2 backs. Okay, but they might not line up and shotgun with a back on either side of the quarterback and 3 receivers.
Right.
There might be 5 receivers in formation.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. So where these guys line up might not match what's next to their name on the lineup. Jalen Lucas is going to be in a lot of different spots. I believe Lawrence Toafili, he has been in the past in his career, going to be in a lot of spots.
Correct.
You think Kyle Morlock's always going to be lined up next to a tackle?
No.
With his hand in the ground?
I think he'll be out. Yeah.
I mean,
right.
That's the other thing here. So, and I think if you're ranking top 4 targets, then Kyle's in there, and he's most certainly entrenched in there with Malik and probably with Ja'Kai.
Those 3 for sure.
Right. And then there's a 4th.
And the 4th is a tough one.
But Jalen Lucas might be listed as a running back, but he might be split out wide more than he's in the backfield. Who knows?
Right. There's lots of different ways to use them.